You deserve happiness, no matter who you are. It doesn't matter what mistakes you've made. It doesn't matter what mistakes your family has made. You deserve to reach for happiness on your own terms. Hello and welcome to the Business of Happiness podcast. I am your host, Dr. Tarryn MacCarthy, and today is going to be a great day. Today we're talking about conditional happiness. What is it? What is conditional happiness? Conditional happiness is that time you catch yourself saying, I'll be happy when. We've all done it. I mean, I used to be the queen of this. In my entire 20s existed with that saying, oh, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I'm married. I'll be happy when I have kids. I'll be happy when I'm finally a dentist. I'll be happy when I finally have an orthodontic practice. I mean, I just kept doing that. See, that is the catch about conditional happiness. Conditional happiness keeps bumping the goalpost further and further away. Conditional happiness is never achieved. Sometimes we feel a fleeting happiness when we finally get there, if we've been clear enough on our goal and we finally have that glorious day of the wedding. You know, if that's been something, I'll be happy when I get married. You have that gorgeous day, and there's always that honeymoon effect where you kind of live and swim in that glory for a while, but there's always that impending low that happens after the event. You know, I remember this so clearly in my mind, and you know, I practice to this day to avoid having conditional happiness, but I do have to tell you, it comes back every now and then. I catch myself because it used to be my go-to around finding happiness. And just like kicking that goalpost down the road and never actually getting to that goalpost and achieving the success I was dreaming of, at least the success that was happiness, so was my happiness getting kicked down the road. I remember feeling like I was forever on this chase to find happiness. I'll be happy when I get to a certain place. And I would put off my feeling of happiness until I achieved that thing. But there's a sneaky little underbelly here that also implies worth or deservancy. Kind of like, I don't deserve to be happy until this manifests, until I accomplish such and such. Or sometimes we put happiness in someone else's hands. Have you ever thought to yourself, I'll be happy when I am accepted by my community? I'll be happy when my friends finally see me for who I am. I'll be happy when my significant other treats me better. I'll be happy when my children finally realize my value as their mother. How many of these are ringing true? I'll be happy when I make a certain amount of money. What ends up happening when we place conditions on our happiness is we're always putting it on external circumstances, either other people, other events, or, you know, accomplishments of our own, which is really outside of ourselves. Happiness really is an inside job. There is no such thing as happy when. There is no final destination. There's no final accomplishment. There is nothing on the other side. It always comes back to the inner work. I just read this phenomenal book by a man with the last name Doty, D-O-T-Y, called The Magic Shop. And it was written by Dr. Doty, who is a neurosurgeon. And he talks about implementing science and these ideas of mindfulness and mindset practices in terms of achieving, in terms of, getting the life of your dreams. And a big part of what he is saying in the book is that anything is possible. Making money is easy. Becoming enormously successful in the minds and the eyes of society is actually quite easy. What's not so easy is identifying how inner fulfillment and happiness is achieved within you. And the secret really comes when you recognize it is within you. That's it. Really, happiness can be found in any circumstance. There is no when. So I ask you to try this exercise. Start with the prompt, I'll be happy when, and literally just let that flow. You could do it at any point along your journey. Just start with the journal prompt, I will finally be happy when, and see what comes up for you. Does it have something to do with where you're living? Does it have something to do with your job? Does it have something to do with the people around you? Are you waiting for someone else in your life to change or to speak to you differently, behave towards you differently? Identify for yourself, just with glaring truth, what you have been putting your happiness off for. And then ask yourself, is that really possible? Is that really an expectation I can have? And is it worth sacrificing my happiness today? We've all seen incredible people who have much less than we do, who are in much more difficult circumstances, and they seem impossibly happy. I mean, how many people have you heard of who are really struggling with terminal illness, recognizing their own mortality, maybe just on the heels of unimaginable loss, and yet they seem like the happiest people, and you really think they're not faking it? What is it about those people? It's that they're not placing their happiness on conditions and external criteria. They're recognizing the important things to them. And here's the miracle of it. The power we have within ourselves to find happiness for ourselves. See, that's the magic. There is nothing wrong with you. You have everything you need, and it's all within you. And the only person whose permission and power you need is your own. Isn't that incredible? Isn't that freeing? How does that land with you? And if you're feeling a lot of resistance to what I just said, and you're thinking, well, this is nonsense, and I have no idea what you're even talking about, you're not alone. This is uncomfortable when you first start to recognize it, but it is the truth. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not broken, and you can be happy even if nothing outside of you changes. I promise. Now, there are certain things that make us feel comfortable and safe to feel happy. Without a doubt, having security and stability in your life, feeling safety in your body and in your own home and in the people who are around you, absolutely that's paramount. In fact, change can only happen at the speed of safety. Change can only happen as fast or as quickly as you're feeling safe in it. In other words, that is one of the big reasons why we self-sabotage, because we suddenly feel outside of our zone of comfort. So safety is integral. Finding safety in yourself, in your space, in your own head is so important. And then beyond that, recognizing you are the secret sauce. It takes a daily commitment, not one that we put off. It takes a daily commitment to valuing and honoring happiness. It takes a daily commitment to recognize that actually my happiness is more important than my 401k, more important than my status or my social status or my standing in the community. Actually, my happiness is the most important, and my happiness can only be defined by me. In other words, however somebody else defines happiness is for them to decide. How many hours a day you work, what role you have as a job, how you see yourself in the community, the relationships that you have, the intimate relationships that you do or don't have, the time you spend by yourself, how you find happiness on a daily basis. All of that is intensely personal. So how could we possibly allow anyone else to dictate that for us? It takes a daily listening to your body. It does that too. You know, it's so interesting. My daughter just got back she was hiking on the Appalachian Trail, not the entire thing. They did this hut-to-hut traverse in the White Mountains here in New Hampshire. So proud of her. She is just amazing. Just shout out to my incredible daughter. Anyway, she and her best friend did this alone together and had a fabulous time. And they met with several other thru hikers. And thru hikers are those people who are hiking the entirety of the Appalachian Trail. They are men and women and those non-binary individuals who have literally found a way to take 6 months from work or their family or their obligations to hike from Georgia all the way into New Hampshire. And, you know, I mean, they're coming across all kinds of weather implements. They're coming across, you know, needing to find food. And there's a lot of planning that goes into this. But can you imagine for 6 months? They have, you know, probably injuries along the way, blisters, rubbing, chafing, maybe broken bones. I can't even imagine. It's such a arduous, incredible accomplishment. So my daughter was asking them, you know, what do you recommend if somebody's interested in doing this incredible thing? How do you do it? How much training? What do you have to do? And they said, no, actually, the training's happening along the way. And what you do is you listen to your body on a daily basis. So you're actually strengthening your muscles along the way. So on the first day, you're maybe not hiking very much and you get stronger as the trip goes on. And the key, every one of these incredible people who were really dedicating themselves to the entire trip was this mantra of snack, crap, or nap. Okay, that's what they were saying. Snack, crap, or nap. Hard to say quickly. It's a tongue twister. If you're listening to this podcast, chances are you didn't get into business to be miserable. The problem is that people feel that if their business gets busier, if they start becoming more successful, that happiness will eventually set in. But it can actually get worse. This is why I created the Business of Happiness Prosperity Coaching. In this one-on-one coaching, we look at how to redefine success on your terms and re-find the joy and the passion in your dream. Visit me at thebizofhappiness.com and become the happiest business owner you know. But what they were saying is asking your body, what do I need right now? If I feel like I can't keep going the next few miles, what do I need? Listening to your body, paying attention not to what the other thru hikers are doing or how many miles they're logging a day, but what do I need? They were saying that this is the key to successfully completing the Appalachian Trail, is paying attention to yourself. And when you push yourself or you ignore the important clues in your own body, that's when people get hurt or fail or give up. I thought, what an incredible analogy for happiness. paying attention to ourselves. What do I need? Listening to our bodies on a daily basis. And sometimes, my friend, if you've been there, on an hourly basis. When we get knocked down and something really impacts us and we feel terrible about ourselves, the furthest away from happiness possible, it's an hourly questioning and an hourly listening and honoring of ourselves. What do I need in this moment? It sounds selfish, but it's critical. It's absolutely critical in order to find happiness. And that's where that honoring of the desire for happiness is so important. I think sometimes there's a voice in the back of our heads that tells us either I don't deserve happiness, I'm not worthy of happiness, or I have to earn happiness. And there's nothing further from the truth. You deserve happiness no matter who you are. It doesn't matter what mistakes you've made. It doesn't matter what mistakes your family has made. You deserve to reach for happiness on your own terms. Simply by the fact that you were born, you have the deservancy of happiness. How does that land? How does that feel? If it feels uncomfortable, you're not alone. See, culturally, we've created this idea that we have to earn our happiness, that hard work goes into being happy, and that there's a certain amount of achievement or a certain amount of sacrifice that we have to make in order to have the right to be happy. And there's nothing further from the truth. Just simply because you were born, you have the right to feel happiness and joy. My question to you is, what does that look like? And so in doing this little discovery journey for yourself, when you're journaling and you ask yourself, I'll be happy when, and then find out, just observation, simple, non-judgmental observation, just be surprised by what comes out as you journal. A second journal prompt might be, I feel enormously happy when, or what brings me joy most is, and find out what are those things. The happiest times in my life were moments when, and then find out what the answer would be. What would your journal answers be to that prompt? It might surprise you. Maybe it was a moment in nature. For me, that definitely comes up. And when I ask myself, some of the most happiest moments in my life were on the top of mountains that I just hiked up. Guess what? That's completely free. I have nature right outside my door. That's completely free. So on a daily basis, I can put myself in a place that I know will immediately bring on happiness. Okay, another one. Happiest time in my life was when I was sitting with one-on-one conversation with someone I love. Oh, another thing, completely free. And now even more accessible with the technology we have. I mean, even if you live thousands of miles from your loved ones, if you have access to the internet, you can be one-on-one with them. Wow. Also available to almost everybody. Happiest moments in my life are when I was moving my body and feeling strong. Also completely available to me, and doesn't it rely on any external event outside of myself. So ask yourself that question. When were the happiest moments of your life? And what was it about those moments that meant so much to you? What's going to be so interesting is what doesn't come up. Find out. I mean, let's see, as you do this journal prompt and as you do the journaling on this, was it based on a condition or an event or a purchase or a material thing? Did those things actually stand out in your life as being the happiest moments in your life? And then reflect a little bit. Wow, isn't that interesting? I always thought I'd be happy when, and then when that thing came into fruition, it doesn't register now as I look back on it as the happiest moment. Isn't that interesting? I think that listening to your body is one of the biggest gifts. Something that we've learned to disconnect from. In a society that rewards doing constantly, accomplishing, and when we hear all this language around busyness, and there's almost like a badge of honor for the busiest, most exhausted person, especially in the medical and dental fields, you're proud to say you worked through lunch. Am I right? Well, one of the things that I've noticed is undoing some of that language, we see what's really lying beneath this fallacy of conditional happiness. And once we have this awareness that conditional happiness really is futile, we really begin to understand ourselves differently. We get in touch with who we really are. And we see ourselves as both separate and so much a part of the human experience, because we really are all the same. We've just all bought into a narrative that happiness has to be earned, or that happiness is something you have to work hard towards, or that happiness is for someone else who does something differently than I do. You know, I remember when we first immigrated to America when I was 12 years old. And the cultural and societal norms were so different. I mean, this was pre-internet. This was in the late 80s. And in the late 80s, my concept of what America might be like was, I literally thought when the airplane landed in Logan Airport in Boston, that little robots, kind of the imagery I had in my mind was R2-D2, but with his hand out and a plate on it, like a butler robot. It's from my 12-year-old imagination. But I thought these little robots would be zooming all around the airport. That was my concept of America. So the world was a different place back then. So when I came to America, I had no idea how to fit in. I always felt like I was kept out of the secret, kept out of the loop. What is it that makes you feel accepted and worthy? Because it wasn't what I knew of coming from South Africa. It was a very different understanding. And, you know, culturally in middle school in America, man, I didn't fit in. And I always felt like there was a secret I wasn't aware of. That feeling perpetuated throughout my life. And I thought that was unique to me. I thought I was the only one who felt that way. Like there's a secret other people know about happiness or fitting in or how to be cool or how to be successful that I'm just not privy to. What's the other phrase? I never got the memo. I love that saying. You know, I just felt like I never had the memo. What was it? And every time I tried to figure it out, I'd get myself kind of more apart from everyone else. What I've learned recently is we all feel that way about happiness. We all feel like we don't know what the secret is until we understand that the secret is ourselves. That's it. It's an inside job. There is no such thing as conditions of happiness. There is no algorithm for happiness. It's all within you. And it takes a new mindset. It takes a new restructuring of the old narrative. It takes an embodiment of a new belief system that you do have the worthiness and the power within you unconditionally. Right now. Amazing. That's it. That's the secret. You know, when I finally realized that happiness is all within me, Happiness wasn't going to be something I finally achieved when. And like I said at the beginning of this episode, I still catch myself in that old habit pattern. I'll be happy when I lose weight. I'll be happy when I fill in the blanks. And now I've learned to catch myself in those moments and get a deeper understanding. Isn't that interesting? With non-judgmental self-awareness of the language and the narrative that's feeding that new perception. Well, isn't that interesting, Tarryn, that you feel like you might not be happy until you lose weight or until you find XYZ? Isn't that interesting? What do you need right now? What is it that you need in this moment, my love? It seems like you're needing something. And what is that? And when you take the time to ask yourself that question and to really listen for the answer, that's where the power starts. That's where the worthiness and the empowerment starts to kick in. And that's where the answer to the question becomes, it's all within you. Oh, thank you so much for joining me today. I was so excited to bring this message to you today. It really is a culmination of a lot of thought work that I've been having over the past couple of months. I'm putting together an amazing course for all of my colleagues in the medical and dental fields. It's going to be coming out this September, this fall of 2022. And so if you're interested in this course, please head over to my website, www.thebizofhappiness.com. And for now, download my free meditation for leaders, and that will get you on the email list, which I will use to send out the information when the course becomes available. So this is a little bit of a pre-order, if you will. So head on over to www.thebizofhappiness.com and get your name on the list by downloading the meditation. You're going to love the meditation. It really is a diving in of learning meditation and the magic of meditation. It really has transformed my life. So this is a little taste of how to get into meditation. And the meditation that I've created, I'm so proud of. It really is a reconnection with yourself. So the beginning of finding out and listening for that whisper within you to find true happiness. And until next time, my friends, go out into the world and live this gorgeous life that we have. Remember that today is going to be a great day. Every single day has that potential. And always know that you're feeling good, your happiness matters. Because when you feel good, that's when you can go out there and do good in the world. Bye-bye.